Confidence isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a reputation you build with yourself. And if you feel like you've lost yours, it's not because you're broken. It's because you've broken too many promises to yourself. Hello and welcome to Uplifted Living, the podcast for living uplifted. I'm Nick Gilbert, and I'm really glad you're here. This is a space for thoughtful conversations about growth, clarity, and living with intention, without the pressure to perform, impress, or rush the process. Let's begin. Most people think confidence is a mindset. They think it's about positive thinking, standing in front of a mirror, or hyping yourself up before a big event. We are told to just be confident. But if that were true, you'd already feel confident by now. You've read the quotes. You've tried the affirmations. Here's the truth that changes everything. Confidence is not a feeling. It's a byproduct of evidence. The real reason your confidence fades isn't a lack of belief. It's a lack of evidence. It's every unfinished plan, every habit you started on January 1st and abandoned by January 15th. Every promise you quietly made to yourself in the dark that you broke by the morning. None of these moments are dramatic on their own. Burnout isn't a personal failure. It's a signal, and a lack of confidence is a signal too. It's a signal that your internal credibility account is overdrawn. Today, we aren't going to talk about how to fake it until you make it. We are going to talk about how to rebuild trust with yourself using the only currency your brain actually respects: small wins. One of the most misunderstood things about confidence is how we lose it. We tend to think confidence disappears overnight after a massive failure. But more often, confidence fades quietly. It fades when you hesitate before starting something new. Not because you can't do it, but because you don't trust how it's going to end. You don't just fear failing. You fear confirming something you already suspect, that you can't count on yourself. So instead of starting, you stall. You watch more videos like this one. You plan more carefully. You wait for the quote-unquote right time. Because planning feels safe. Planning doesn't threaten your confidence. Action does. I've had seasons where even simple goals felt risky. Not because they were hard, but because I didn't want to add another piece of evidence against myself. I stayed stuck, not from laziness, but from self-protection. This is where the concept of margin becomes critical. We often try to rebuild confidence by setting massive goals. We try to go from 0 to 100. That usually leads to burnout. And burnout comes from asking too much of yourself for too long without enough recovery, margin, or compassion. When you set a massive goal and miss it, you aren't just missing a target. You are reinforcing the internal narrative that says, "See, I told you we couldn't do this." We need to stop trying to sprint a marathon when we haven't walked around the block. We need a gentle reset. Let's reframe this. Think about trust in your everyday life with other people. Imagine you have a friend. And every week, this friend tells you, "I'll call you on Friday at 5 p.m. Friday comes, 5 p.m. passes, no call. The first time, you make an excuse for them. The second time, you get annoyed. But by the 10th time, you aren't even angry anymore. You just stop expecting the call. You have zero confidence in their word. Now imagine that friend comes to you and says, "I promise, this Friday, I'm going to throw you a massive surprise party, buy you a car, and change your life." Do you believe them? Absolutely not. You don't even trust them to make a phone call. Why would you trust them to overhaul your life? Confidence works the same way internally. If you keep telling yourself, "I'll start that business tomorrow. I'll stick to the diet this time. I'll write that book," and it doesn't happen, your system stops believing the promise. It doesn't matter how much you hype yourself up. Your brain has the data. It has the evidence. This is why positive thinking often fails for people with low confidence. It feels like a lie because based on your recent history, it is a lie. You don't think your way into confidence, you act your way into it. But, and this is the key, only if the action is small enough to finish. Big goals ask for proof before trust has been restored. Small wins do the opposite. They rebuild confidence quietly without triggering the fear response. So, if you're feeling burned out on self-improvement, the solution isn't to push harder. It's to reset gently. We need to look at the physics of a small win. A small win works because it's believable. It doesn't require a massive spike in dopamine or motivation. It doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks, can I do this today and still feel okay afterward? If the answer is yes, your system relaxes. And when your system relaxes, confidence has room to return. If this approach to gentle, subtle growth resonates with you, please hit subscribe. Next week's episode reframes consistency as an identity practice, and it connects directly to how confidence becomes stable instead of fragile. You won't want to miss that one. So, how do we define a small win? Small win is an action you can complete even on your worst day and still have the energy to come back tomorrow. It shouldn't be impressive. It shouldn't be optimized. It just needs to be repeatable. Instead of an hour at the gym, it's 10 minutes of stretching. Instead of writing a chapter, it's writing one paragraph. Instead of a perfect morning routine, it's drinking one glass of water. It sounds too easy, right? Your ego will hate this. Your ego wants the big win. Your ego wants to post about the marathon. But your confidence needs the walk. When you finish that small task, pause. Acknowledge it. Not with hype, but with respect. Say to yourself, I did what I said I would do. That sentence, I did what I said I would do, rebuilds confidence faster than any motivational speech ever will. Over time, something subtle changes. This isn't just about checking boxes. It's existential. When you stack enough small wins, the evidence tips the scale. You stop looking at yourself as someone who starts and stops. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. You stop asking, do I have what it takes? And you start knowing, I follow through because I choose things I can finish. That is confidence. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet. It's grounded. It's stable. It's the difference between fragile arrogance and deep earned security. Confidence isn't rebuilt through big promises. It's rebuilt through small wins kept consistently. So if you're feeling the weight of broken promises today, lower the bar. Make the wins so small you can't fail. Do it not to impress yourself, but to trust yourself again. This episode resonated with you? Consider following or subscribing to the show and sharing it with someone who's learning to rebuild confidence in a quieter way. Till next time, keep learning, keep growing, and continue to uplift both yourself and those around you. Thank you for listening.